How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. One of the reasons why I want to make sure you guys stay updated, we had Amazon that came out with their earnings, and of course they did very well. And this pushed up the entire tech sector. And we know that Lucid is a part of it. In regards to the price action that we saw, we did have resistance around $28.59. So we know it's having some trouble getting above that 200-day moving average. But we'll talk about it further. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $26.95, being down 2.64%. On the low, it tested $26.29, and then on the high, testing $28.59. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 29.876 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 43.93 million shares. So one thing we noticed, we did have below average volume on the day, and we did see a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 31.41. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day, the 100-day, the 21-day EMA, and as well as the 200-day. So one of the things I was talking about yesterday, if you were bullish on Lucid, you want to see price action above the 200-day. Of course, we ended up seeing a high of $28.59, but it needs a reclaim above this $29 level. The fact that we're going into tomorrow, we do have job report that's going to be coming out, but Amazon did end up crushing earnings. You're going to want to see if it can make that strong pop going back to 29. If it can't do this, we did show support at 26.29. I could see this area actually breaking if we end up having a red day and getting back into the $25 range. But another thing that you want to keep an eye on, if the markets are strong, then of course you want to see how Lucid does if it's able to get past $30.85. If it's able to do this, this is where you want to see if it's going to be able to get past $32.50. We've talked about this level for quite some time on the channel, so that's why I say pay attention to that. If it can't get past $32.50, then of course I'm going to be looking forward to seeing a retracement. So it'll be very interesting to see how it performs going into tomorrow, but if it's able to close above $29, it's definitely looking interesting going into next week. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for February the 3rd, we have KBC Group that purchased 24,479 shares. We have Dewa Securities Group Inc. that purchased 66,569 shares. And we also have Arcadios Wealth Advisors that purchased 7,900 shares. And then when we scroll down to Advisor Group Holdings Inc., they purchased 52 in regards to calls. And then we also have Tower View Investment Management Research LLC that purchased 100. Going down further, we have Regency Capital Management Inc. that purchased 4 shares. And then we also have Pacer Advisors Inc. that purchased 51,803 shares. So institutions have been continuing to load up. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 63.72%. And then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 10.20 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 90,000, updated 28 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 8.73%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close close of the first, it was at 60.19. And then for the close of the second, which was yesterday, it is at 63.72. So one thing that is very clear, we are seeing an increase in the short interest, and this contributes to the volatility that you're going to see in the play. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see here on the inflow, it's at 141, and then on the outflow, it's 175. So we ended up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, you can see on the large, it was 7.74. On the medium, it was 76.60. And then on the small, it was 56.66. Taking a look at the outflow side, we could see on the large, it was 9.08. On the medium, it was 101. And then on the small, it was 64.70. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, February the 3rd, it being that outflow of negative 1.34 million. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, represents whales, institutions, or funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.82%. So again, this is not too bad for a stock like Lucid. We're seeing that it stays in a consistent range. We've seen it in the 2% range. So what this tells us, there are still many who are holding on to their positions. And another thing that you want to pay attention to is the volatility, and that's exactly what we get. Because as far as the range we talk about how Lucid trades, it has been very consistent. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, in regards to the price action, you're going to want to look for a close above $29.10, which is where we have the 200 moving average. If it continues to close below this, of course it stays being in a bear market, and this is where you could see a pullback. So if we do have weakness, then you could see this stock touching back to the $26 range, and as well possibly $25. It all depends on the market conditions. We do have job reports that are going to be coming out tomorrow, and this will have an impact on the sector. Also, paying attention to what's happening with Tesla. I said in my previous videos, if you're following Lucid, you should follow Tesla as well. When Tesla has those strong pops like it had earlier today, we saw that with Lucid. And then when it started pulling back, what did you see? Lucid doing exactly the same thing. So again, you want to make sure you have this inside your toolbox. And also taking into consideration the pump that we're seeing in the after hours, Amazon ended up releasing some solid earnings, and the whole entire market just reacted to it. Yes, stocks are running up, but there's a lot of variables that we have to pay attention to. Many people were thinking that Amazon was going to bomb their earnings. So going into tomorrow, the volatility will continue. Just don't think that the market is going to be going straight up. And this is why I want to make sure that you're adding this with your homework and as well as your due diligence. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why when you have a lot of buying volume coming into the stock, we could see those moves to the upside. Plus, on top of that, we see that institutions have been continuing to load up on shares as well. We're not surprised. We've been seeing this on a consistent basis. So this will give a lot of confidence to long-term investors. As far as taking a position, I am still going to be holding. Like I said, my cost basis is well below 20 bucks, and I don't see any reason to be buying this stock at the current price. I see more volatility in the market. I can see us having a pullback. Do know we have interest rate hikes that are going to be coming up, and there's a lot of uncertainty that is out there right now, and I just want to make sure I remain patient. For any of you guys that have any questions, you can drop them inside in the comment section, or if you want to be a part of the private community, you can join us over on the Discord, which shout out to one of the members who crushed it on his Facebook puts. I think he made like 3,000%. So again, just wanted to make sure I was going to shout him out. I said I would do it in the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.